Good morning, everyone. My name is Leo, and I'm going to talk about hesitation disfluency in spontaneous speech. Also, the meaning of and of. Human speech is peppered with ums and uhs, among other signs of hesitations in the planning process, but are these so-called fillers or filled pauses intentionally uttered by speakers? Or are they side effects of difficulties in the planning process? And how do listeners respond to them? The present paper review evidence concerning that the production and comprehension of fillers such as and in an attempt to determine whether they can be said to be words with meanings that are understood by listeners. To conclude, listeners are highly sensitive to hesitation disfluencies in speech. There is little evidence to suggest that they are intentionally produced or should be considered to be words in the conventional sense. When humans communicate, their messages are conveyed by more than just the words they use. They can, for example, use gestures to indicate what a phrase such as this one refers to, or change their tone of voice to show that the assertion that they love linguistics is not to be taken as face value. As well as these additional components of communication, the words of unprepared spoken language are likely to be accompanied by a range of unintentional errors. If, for example, a speaker exchanges the one set of two words by perhaps saying "downboard" when intending to say "wrong door," it is highly likely that the exchange is intentional, and the occurrence of accidental speech errors like this may inform us about the nature of speech planning. Between these extremes of intentionality are disfluencies, or the false starts, repetitions, and hesitations that accompany the word that speaker plan and utter. Averaging across several studies, Fox estimated that approximately 6% of words uttered are or are affected by some form of disfluencies. These disfluencies may not always be accidental. It has been argued that some types of disfluencies should be counted among the tools the speaker has for communicating to speak to the listeners. Alongside things such as tone of voice, others, such as false starts, may be due to speaker editing their own speech. Chief among the potentially communicative disfluencies are so-called fillers such as and which mark a hesitation on the part of the speaker. In this paper, we investigate the role played by hesitation in human communications with a particular focus on filler and the communicative goals that it may serve. Here's my table of contents. First, where do disfluencies such as fillers occur throughout? Next, what are hesitation disfluencies and cognitive load? Third, what's the meaning of and are? In the end, I will tell you guys how to reducing disfluencies in spontaneous speech. After all of this, I would like to show you a short video of a short talk between Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal and see how they using fillers and explain why they are using the fillers. Investigation of disfluencies such as filler occurs throughout utterance have established that they are more likely to occur before contents word, such as low-frequency color names. However, Betty and Butterworth came to a different conclusion when they investigated the distributional properties of disfluencies across a set of recording of two people conversations. They showed that both low-frequency contents were and those rated as contextual improbable are likely to be preceded by hesitations such as fillers when the frequency was held constant. Contextual probability still predicts disfluencies. Rather than attributing disfluencies to cognitive load, Betty and Butterworth suggest that speaker might be aware of an element of choice in selecting words with low contextual probability and were more likely to be disfluenced for this reason. Next, not enough practice. Research also shows do more practice can reducing hesitation disfluencies in your speech, and better preparation can reduce the mood of hesitation very well. Next, what are hesitation disfluencies and what is cognitive load in spontaneous speech? Any forms of nonsense pauses are called hesitation disfluencies. One of the most common hesitation disfluencies is fillers. And what is cognitive load? It is a process that you are phrasing your words and thinking about how to pronounce the word and what does it mean. The research shows that there is more likely a filler word throughout after cognitive load. Now, let's move on to the next parts. What's the meaning of and are? Their meaning is no meaning. They are just two different types of delay. Is a longer delay, and is a brief delay. Although there's no meaning in these two words, the study shows that people are more likely to memorize the contents that comes after and are. In the field of linguistics, some believe that and are means someone is trying to throw out a opinion or phrasing what they are going to say next, and lead the listener to the point which the speaker wants to send. Last but not least, how to reduce disfluencies in spontaneous speech. First, as I've mentioned in the very beginning, practice more. Do enough practice before your speech can make you more confident and more fluent about it. Next, choice of word. You should choose the word that you are familiar with, but not using the word which are uncommon and difficult. This can also help you do your speech more fluencies because the words in your speech are those you know very well. So there is no this change that you have a cognitive load, which only happen when you are not familiar with the words. Finally, using silent pause. You should get used to using a silent pause. It is one kind of phrasing, and we all need to learn how to and when to use it, but not using fillers. Now, I would like to share a video of YouTube to you, and let's see how many fillers are heard and let's see how fillers are heard in our daily conversation. Then we will see how many times and what kind of fillers throughout the speaker in this video. Let's let's skip to around 4 minutes. Okay, skip this part. Alright, as you can see here, I have made a small record to count out how many times do the speaker use the fillers and which one is the most frequent. The first one is and it has been used once. The second one is it has been used 10 times. And next is like, it has been used twice. And next, yeah, it has been used twice. Next, I mean, it has been used once. And the final one, it has been used once. In my opinions, um, and yeah can be considered as the speaker was thinking about what he want to say and which word he should use. You know, I mean, like, are more likely throughout when the speaker wants the listener to agree with his opinion and reach a consensus. So this is my presentation today. Thank you for listening.